Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Al Stock Trades. All right, guys. So first off, this is going to be a late live. It's 9:28 Eastern Standard Time. I'm in Kentucky right now. So yeah, it's kind of weird. Kentucky is Eastern Standard Time. So I'm not getting the best reception here. I'm using a Wi-Fi hotbox. I don't know why they call it a hotbox. Maybe maybe it's not called a hotbox. It's called some box. But internet's slow, so I don't know if it's going to be cutting or not. Just bear with me. I'm sorry if it's not that great. Let me know in the chat if it is good. Okay. So, overall, in our stock terminal, I've been releasing some plays regarding some covered calls and some income that we've, essentially been making. As passive. Again, not financial advice, of course. It's just basically what I'm doing, right? So it's nice because this thing's been hovering around the $3 region. So it's just a great way just to get some covered calls in. Again, this is not my large stock pile. I am not touching that. I'm not touching that. I'm just. This is more for the FU money, right? Right. Um, so this is just um, more like the day trading side of the portfolio. Okay. So this has been really great, and this thing's been paying anywhere between 20% per month to around 6% per month. The range changes accordance to 6.49%. I think the range changes in accordance with the options flow. But what I wanted to talk about in this video is if you go ahead and go to Yahoo Finance, right, and just kind of look at the overall market, you're going to get green days, you're going to get red days, and you're just going to get days that are boring, right? And that's what happens when you're in a market that is waiting for earnings. Like, for example, Clover. It is a fundamentally now sounding company. The only thing that could change it to where it can explode is some crazy deal where we actually know the money of how much their SaaS business is going to bring in, which I don't think is going to happen, or another insider buy. Vivek can go in and do another buy, and that's it, right? So overall, it's looking pretty, nice and boring, which is what I like because a lot of these, Wall Street bets folks, a lot of these folks that still have a negative connotation of Clover, they're going to basically kind of say, okay, this thing's done. A lot of people thought Clover was going to go down back to dollar, right? I guarantee you there are a lot of folks that thought Clover was just going to basically go belly up again, kind of like went up all this huge percent and it's just going to go down. Ideally, if a company is like, for example, and here's the thing. So we have I don't like this company at all. I don't even think it's making a profit. Again, I haven't looked at it, but I've made a video about it. In our stock terminal, I have a little channel where people talk about it as a potential short squeeze. But I haven't looked at it, but I want to remove it from our little chat group because I don't like this company. Like, this is not reflective of the quality of companies we look at. But a lot of people thought, just to pick on Mullen as an example, a lot of people thought that this thing was going to go up 141% and then essentially crash back down another 97%. And I don't blame them, right? They thought what I'm trying to basically tell you is they thought Clover was just going to go up to 3 and go back down to 60 cents. I don't blame them. They thought it's going to go up and go down because the thing is they don't understand fundamentals. Like a lot of these I can't speak, retail investors are going to be like, why isn't this falling down? And then all of a sudden it's going to continue going up and up and up and up. And then they're going to like, oh my God, this is an actual business. But you guys know that because you guys know the fundamentals, because we have access to all the information necessary to know more about this company, right? And we have an educational platform that can take you from zero to hero, and that's the beauty of it. I was in the OR today, and one of the chairs was, I've never seen this before. It's really interesting. Um, they went ahead and said, name me something, a random fact, and I really like it. It's an icebreaker. It's definitely a really interesting. And you guys know me well. What is a fact that no one knows about that I love to talk about? It was intrinsic value. So I literally talked about intrinsic value, and everyone was like, "Whoa," And then we had a neuropsychologist in the house, and she was like, "So how do you leverage this information?" And I didn't know how to like sugarcoat this. I'm like, "You leverage this information by making money." I don't like, what else are you gonna do with this information? This is not some academic exercise. This is not some university academic exercise that I'll have you all pair up into groups and talk about, how stocks should go up. No, we are making money. We are out on the Wall Street and we are competing. We are generating alpha in the market. We are outperforming the market. This is, anywho, I digress, but it's just funny because a lot of folks thought this was going to go down to 60, but they don't understand. It's going to continue. I think, in my opinion, again, I'm not a financial advisor. They're way smarter than me, right? Um, I think this thing is going to go back up, and it's just funny because if you go back down when it was 63 cents, you know, from that hit piece article, I mean, all the way to peak to trough here, we're looking at 455.56%. I mean, come on. I mean, do you see that? Look at that, right? So, you know, overall, it's looking pretty sexy for Clover. And, this is nothing, we already know this. Back in January 22, 2024, I posted this article and I talked about like how, we went ahead and analyzed the article and, we could just kind of read the concluding thoughts here. The scatter plot provides a visual representation of how the Russell 2000 Ford PE have been related to subsequent long-term returns. Um, what we essentially found is that, we are currently at a forward PE of approximately 14.72. And is what's telling us is that because we have a PE like this, we should get double digit returns. And if you look to, XWM, or am I saying this right? IWM, which is the small cap ETF, overall, we are nearing that double percent return, which if folks read this, you would have figured it out by just taking the line here of 14.72, crossing it over and getting near this 9 to 10 region. So again, it's all mathematically calculated, right? And again, we go here and go to market sentiment. Remember, a lot of people were very fearful when COVID happened because this is 2020. I know that dip seems so small. And then that was a great time to buy because, we look at the oversold RSI, we calculate the intrinsic value, and the conclusion is be greedy when others are fearful. And unfortunately, no matter how much you would think humans, the people would understand what fear is, they end up losing, and you can take advantage of that. You can learn human psychology and take advantage of a weak mind, right? Because that's what Wall Street is. It's a transfer of wealth between the impatient to the patient. Okay. So there's that, right? And another thing we talked about, and we posted this on X. If you look at the Russell 2000 stacked on the NASDAQ 100, you can see that, we really haven't had a low ratio like this since 1999, the dot-com bubble crash. And then after that, the NASDAQ, the Russell 2000 outperformed the NASDAQ for 9 years. Okay. So I really think that we could be heading to some of this like special sauce that we're seeing. Okay. And it's just a matter of time. And it's not just kind of just this big macro, not macro, but just kind of holistic side of looking at small caps. Intrinsically, you are seeing Humana getting disrupted. Okay, I said it right, Humana. Oh, I can't say it that way because it makes people happy. Humana. Just kidding. But you can see here 11.63%, guys. I mean, look at that, right? 6 months, right? 10%. Look at year to date, negative 33.64%. Humana is losing 37.74%. They are going almost to become, they're already below a $40 billion market cap. Now, again, people are saying that, oh, it could reemerge, right? I don't know. I need to look at it. But overall, we are starting to see disruption, and it's just a waiting game now. That's what I'm doing right now. In the meantime, with this waiting game, I'm releasing on like my blog what I'm doing. Like, again, not financial advice, is what I'm doing in the essentially FU money cycle of things, by just basically milking the covered calls and cash secured puts, milking the gamblers' money. People like to gamble. Well, we'll sell you insurance, right? And we will love to take your premiums, right? Thank you. Give me the premium, right? So so that's kind of it right there. And, for folks that are interested in our platform, the sale does end soon. It does end the end of September, so we only have a couple more days. I think it ends on the last day of September at like some weird time. So take advantage of this coupon code SAS. Again, you get lifetime access to everything we offer here at Al Stock Trades. You can visit it at alstocktrades.com website, and we accept financing. Again, this is one of the largest sales you guys will ever see. Again, the reason why is because Clover released their SaaS, and it's very exciting because we've been talking about this, and to get kind of this verbal, formal communication, it really, really just kind of, we had to throw a sale, because it's just, we were talking about this company to a point where we were getting bullied, right? Um, hey, you see that in the last 2 days we've had 70% of total short interest? Um, TSS, my friend, let me show you something. Not only do we know our stock terminal calculates this, our stock terminal calculates it, but not only that, Mr. Turdy Trades here, right? The executive of Al Stock Trades, Mr. Turdy Trades. Can't even say it. Man, I love my community. Turdy Trades. That's awesome. But, Dr. Turdy. Just imagine, right? If there was a Dr. Turdy out there, I guarantee you this probably is a Dr. Turdy. Let me see. Dr. Turdy, I'm sure. Oh, yeah, there is. There's a lot of Dr. Turdys out there. So, anywho, Mr. Dr. Turdy Trades here talked about how there's a 71% short volume. Okay. Now, we definitely got that, right? 4-star change intrinsic value. Well, yeah, it's definitely going to change intrinsic value, because what's going to happen? What does 4-star do, right? It means that Clover becomes a 4-star general, which means that they're going to get more weapons. I'm just kidding. No, that's not what that means. I'm just joking. Clover is going to get 4 stars. If they do get 4 stars, it's going to increase the amount of reimbursement money, which is essentially going to be driven into their gross margins, which means that more money for them equals more free cash flow. And if more free cash flow means that we can go into the future and discount back at a 10 to 15% discount rate, or the WACC model, divided by the number of outstanding shares, utilizing a 2 to 3% perpetuity model, which then basically calculates the intrinsic value of the company, right? And remember, guys, I'm on 2 hours of sleep here, right? And look at how I know I've done this for so long that I can just talk about this in my sleep, right? Because I know this to the back of my head. And what I want to do is I want to be able to take you from zero to hero, right? And that's the goal of what I'm trying to build here. Because when we build our community on Al Stock Trades and the stock terminal, we build this lifetime community here, right? It's a pretty impressive thing we're going to get, because a lot of you guys are going to get educated and you guys are going to do a lot of things. Okay. So, very quickly, let's go ahead and just go ahead and let's look at the terminal real quick here. And we can just go in and then look at the overall projection. Okay. We go to projection and we look at Clove here real quick, right? We look at Clove and we can see the AI model here is predicting that Clover is going to continue rising. So it does see a future in sight that can go up, right? So there's a lot of great things that we can talk about, but overall, this is just a beautiful waiting game. We're just waiting because remember, we did all the hard work, right? We did all the hard work. Okay. So again, with all the new shorts, we will need a huge news or earnings. Yeah, let them come. Again, these are idiot shorts. Remember I told you is there a command for short volume? You bet your ass there is, right? So excuse my language. I just get really excited. I mean, you can't blame me, right? So you could do a couple of them. You can do this one. You can let me show you here. Is there a command? You can go ahead and open up with this one here. Again, I'm like sleeping right now as I'm talking to you. You can go ahead and type in Clover and you can look at the short volume here. And then you could see kind of the short volume basically picked up the past couple of days, these 2 days, and you can see a short volume shot up. And there's a lot of ways to look at short volume. This is just one of the graphs. There's so many different data points that you can look at. So yeah, Keith, definitely, our platform does that, right? Again, the goal of the matter is to create a one. Holy moly, I have a lot of these messages to answer. Oh God, this is part of the nonprofit we run, which is this. I like to just put the nonprofit and stock terminal on one thing, so just so I can just kind of just answer all the questions, right? So, um, again, the goal is to create a one-stop shop, right? That's the goal, right? It's to create a one-stop shop, right? Of course, Keith, of course. And then you could go to outstocktrades.com, look at stock commands. You could see all the 2.5 billion outputs you'll have access to, right? So it's just the whole point is to just create a community, because unfortunately, community is everything. And the way we live now in America, we don't really value community anymore. And it's not like the job place values community. And you need a community in order to succeed. And then what we've created here in Al Stock Trades is just a group of like-minded people. I mean, you go ahead, go talk to your family about stocks. They're going to look at you like you're trying to be the next Warren Buffett. And they're going to be laughing at you, right? And it's unfortunate because it's just so hard to find people that actually are serious about investing, right? They'll like say, oh, wow, that's cool. And they all go ahead and talk shit or don't really give a crap because they hate numbers, or the best excuses. I suck at math, right? It's pretty much basically saying, I love being poor, right? So again, I know these are harsh realities, right? These are harsh things to say, but it's all about community. And without community, you can't do nothing, right? So, um, that's all I have for you guys. Again, it's just a waiting game. I'm waiting right now. I'm enjoying myself, right? I'm waiting and I'm collecting premium on the FU side of things because I know this company more than a lot of the other stocks, right? I know Palantir really well, more than the general population. From our portfolio hedging modeling system, I do study other stocks, but we really put in some work with this one. You know what I mean? Again, not financial advice, just me expressing my opinion in our educational platform here, right? That has access to 2.5 billion outputs of data. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, as always, it's always a privilege and honor to be here for you guys. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to sleep and I'm going to knock the F out. Okay. I love each and every one of you. As you can see, I'm like literally closing my eyes and talking to you guys. But again, it shows the commitment we have for each and every one of you, right? Because we are trying to do God's work here. We are trying to democratize financial literacy, right? And we're doing such a good job. We are creating millionaires, okay? Right? Out of billionaires. I'm just kidding. That was a nice joke, right? Because that's a nice joke. Right? I've 11K members to my channel and no one wants to learn how to trade. It's very difficult to push people. Exactly. TSS. It's hard. But you know what? I'm not giving up because there's people out there that want to search for a better way. They may, those 11,000 people, they may not be ready, right? But they at least maybe might look at what you have to say. So don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up on your people. Okay. All right. Good night, Patrick. I love you guys all. Okay. Good night. I'm going to go to the OR room early tomorrow and I'm just having a great time. I'm having a great time taking care of patients. Man, oh man, I'm having a great time. It is an honor to be able to do this job, right? It's, to be honest, people call it a job. I call it a calling. It's kind of weird. You have to get paid for this, right? It's kind of weird to get a paycheck. You know what I mean? Kind of just makes it weird. It's like, well, wait, what? You get paid for this amazing job? Wow, right? So, love you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.